All right, everyone. Welcome back to another Bestiary guide here on Veracity Trigger. So I'm your host, Veracity Trigger, and we're going to go ahead and talk about the Bahamut class, the Wyvern through Coatl through Bahamut. And so if you enjoy this kind of content, please help the channel grow. Leave a like, do the thing you got to do, help the channel grow, and also leave a comment. Let me know if this is your favorite monster in the game. I'd like to hear it. And we'll have a nice conversation about it. But let's go ahead and let's converse and let's see why this is a good monster. This is typically one of those evasion tanks that you're going to go ahead and play when you play this new game. So if you're unfamiliar with a lot of these monsters, I'm going to go ahead and help you out in every way to understand what it's good for and why it's a good thing. It's considered an evasion tank. It can also be a flanker. So it actually can get around the enemy and do damage from the back too. It's very good for that. But let's go ahead and talk about it here. So if we're looking at the Wyvern here, we're looking at the stats on the right here because I'm looking at the class change section. And this is what we need to look at for the Wyvern class. This is what you're going to go ahead and summon and buy. Some countries do have a Coatl or Bahamut to start the game. But if you don't have that, then you're just going to have to buy a basic Wyvern and try to grow it. So this is what we start with, is about 523 hit points. Growing with hit points is, you get about 50 points. It's not bad. Defense is about 10 defense less than the Coatl here. Intelligence is a little bit lower. Mobility is down to 6. Now 6 mobility, you might be like, wow, that's pretty low. No, that's actually quite high for this game. And as you can see, with growing into the Coatl version, you get an extra mobility, so you get extra move space. That's what mobility means, is movement, and all these other stats right here. But let's go ahead and let's look at some other stuff that they basically get, comparing them. So the Wyvern just has a tail whip here. That's really all it's got, just basic attack. And no magic, no abilities, nothing else, nothing at all to see here. They do cost 60 to get, or no, they actually cost a certain amount to buy, but this is how much it costs to fit it into your army. And so you'll have to see about that when you summon the monster. It'll have a certain monster cost, but then this magic cost is how much it'll take to fit it into your party. So just remember that, okay? So we'll go down here. Now we're just looking at the middle tier, the basic Coatl that I've got right here. We can see the agility growth and all that. It's about the same, if not, it almost looks a little bit bigger. You know, if we're going to go ahead and compare it. So it's a little bit bigger than the Wyvern here. As you can see, the agility, this is where the agility grows, and we're going to look at the agility there with the Bahamut, but you can see this thing is an evasion tank, right? Also a flanker. It's kind of like a mixture of two. Maybe should be considered more of a flanker, but honestly, you can use this as a frontline tank. It's totally fine. Just try to make sure you don't get it trapped or chained. That's really where the agility goes bye-bye. And the, agility tank kind of turns into a, well, I'm sure you can guess. But, let's look at this stuff here, okay? So let's go ahead and check out some new things that they've got here. They've got, now it's up to Tail Chain and Dragon Roar. So Dragon Roar is a really interesting skill, and this, not a lot of players actually use this. I do use this at times during battle, and it does come out to be very, very helpful. This Coatl essentially is like, if you're up against mages and stuff, you can go and flank them and use his Dragon Roar and burn up all their MP. Or, not all their MP, 50% of their MP. But if they have a big stock of MP and they're about to blast you with a whole plethora of spells, and you go behind and you get right next to a wizard, it'll burn down half their MP. That is devastating to the enemy. Now, this Dragon Roar attack goes around in a circle. Basically, it just screams, and every square within a circle of it, which is 6 squares around it, are going to lose 50% of MP, including your own monsters if you have them near you. So take that into account. If you have a monster with you that doesn't use MP or doesn't have MP, great. It doesn't matter. You're not gonna, you're not gonna de-benefit your own team for that. So this is a skill you can use to burn down enemy unicorns' healing potential, enemy teams' status afflicting potential, and enemy wizards' magic. So you can make them ineffective on a battlefield by using a quaddle like this. It's a very powerful tool. Not a lot of people use that skill set, but I'm just telling you, that is a definite game changer right there. Okay, so we know a lot about the quaddle, the middle tier. It's a very good monster. Frontline tank ability right there. Now, if we look up at the Bahamut here, we're going to look at how much this costs. This was 60 to 80, so that's a 20-point bump as far as fitting it in your team, right? 60, 80. We're going to look at this. Now it's 80. This is a 20-point bump monster as far as fitting on a team goes. So it's very heavy. It's very difficult to fit this in your team. You have to play with your numbers and try to get that right. But what we do see is a generous hit point bump. The MP goes up by 30 points. Really good. Not a lot of attack. Basic defense bump there. A little bit of intelligence. A little bit of strength. And a bit more agility. Mobility stays the same. These are both the same, so nothing really changes there. But you can see how this agility growth is going to go nuts. So the more agility you have, the better you have of evading the enemy. Unless you're chained. If you're chained, everything changes from that point. And what I'm saying that is if two other enemies or one other enemy has you pincered to the point that you see chains rotating around your guy, that's what I'm talking about. So we're going to look at this Dragon Roar. It says reduce MP of all adjacent enemies by 50. We look at tail impact. Really does the same thing. The Bahamut and Quaddle both have Dragon Roar, which is very useful. Very, very vital if you're up against a mage team. Probably want to bring some Wyverns on your team just to get around the back 40 and pop some Dragon Roars and deplete their MP. Now, it could cost the Wyvern its life, but if it's a really difficult battle, it could help you maybe get the win by draining the enemy's MP by 50%. That will save you a whole Genofrost, potentially, or an Exoblast, probably. You know, it depends upon what they've got. The extra skill that they've got here is a Calamity Breath. Now, this is your basic Dragon Breath attack. This does 4 spaces. It just shoots a breath attack 4 lines in a row. And the greatest thing about this, compared to the original or Grand Edition version, is that you can use a Calamity Breath and move away. So you can actually do the breath attack and have the hit and away option with this. Versus the original, that was just a pre-move. So let's look to the right here. No magic spells, but this double movement with this game applies for a lot of things, really. But you get double movement, so you can move 7 spaces always, unless you're chained or surrounded or whatever. But you always get, so if you sit there and you do an attack with a Bahamut, you have the ability to move away. And I'd love to show you the picture of the Bahamut right now. I don't have one on this file. I do have other Bahamuts on other files, but essentially it just looks a little more red and purple. But that's essentially what that is right there. So let me know if you use Bahamuts on your team. Let me know if you enjoy that. And yeah, let me know how you use them. My own experience, even playing multiplayer against other players, there's times I'll take the Bahamut, the Quaddle out there, and I'll just leave it there just so I can burn up their MP and make them useless. This is a strategy that you can actually use and employ. You know, so just saying, these things are quite versatile. You can do a damage attack, or you can do an MP attack. You can fly around. You can get behind them. You can do a lot of versatility to these guys. These Bahamuts are a bit underrated, and possibly in this game too. You know, if you have a problem with Mua, you got a problem with Talia, you got a problem with XYZ magic user out there, just, you know, use this to the best of their advantage and just burn down their MP. You know, then you don't have to really worry about that. Put it between two unicorns that are right next to each other and burn down their MP, and they can't heal their team at that point. I mean, that's a very tactical way to play the game. But I'll just show you a couple extra stats here for this file. But if you want to know, they can equip claws, light armor, gauntlets, all this. Here's the Dragon Roar. It is a pre-move, so is Calamity Breath. It is also a pre-move. So, only costs 25 MP. It's funny, you need some MP to destroy the enemy's MP. So you destroy their MP using 25 of your own. But yeah, there's the stat there, or there's the description there. But yeah, you got to be careful about bows, because apparently they are weak to archers. But other than that, thanks everybody for coming by. Thanks for watching. Next up, I think, is possibly unicorns. I'll have to look into that, but I don't know. I also have some other guides and helpful videos coming for Grand Edition as well, because Grand Edition, I've wanted to make some guides for that for a long time, and I have to try to work on finishing that. So, otherwise, thanks everybody for coming by. Let me know what you think about the Bahamut here, and why it's so crazy good, and do you use it all the time, or do you summon something else? Let me know how you play the game. I'd love to hear it. All right, everybody, take care, and I'll see you in the next guide or helpful video.